What?
Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast. I am Brian.
I'm Lizzie.
And we're alive. Lizzie half as much.
Yeah. It's this thing called finals and being on a trimester system at school, plus doing 3 other jobs.
Yeah. I don't know what that's like, because I graduated.
I don't know, I just do this thing where I get bored really easily, so I'm like, wow, I have a day open, let me fill it with something else.
That's so dangerous.
Staying still is not good for me.
That is...
I operate really well under consistent stress and anxiety, which is incredibly unhealthy, but listen. Some of my friends have literally shaved off probably a total 20 years off my life expectancy anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I know I'm going to die young. It's chill.
Wow.
I've accepted this fact.
I've given up already.
I already know.
Good. Some people, it takes them a lot longer to give up on everything, but you learned young to give up sooner. Just get it in and get out. Yeah, we're back. We had a very cool week since releasing our last episode, our interview with Adam Siska. Yeah, we got in AP magazine.
Which is pretty wild. I wasn't ready for it. I found it, and I immediately sent it to our Discord chat, like, screaming in, explanation point. And I was
holy
like,
shit. Yeah, it is. It was weird, like, just posting about it and just being like, holy shit, we're in AltPress. Like, shout out to Alternative Press for picking up our podcast. I was honestly, like, a little surprised that Adam Siska said so many things that, like, weren't really out there yet. Like, we were able to break news, which I'm like, no one should entrust me with that. No one should.
I was so surprised. I was like, wow, is this how breaking news in, like, real life feels like? Wild.
We're basically the local Chicago TMZ.
I don't know, the emo version.
The emo TMZ. The ESC TMZ.
That's not what I wanted.
I know. I don't really either, but it was cool. Siska's a really cool dude, and obviously being able to talk about a band that we grew up with, and knowing that, there's some potential for more stuff in the future from them is pretty neat. Having the power of knowing that information and putting it out is scary. Yeah. But it's cool. It's cool. So we were in AltPress. If you look it up from last Friday, I guess we can put a link to it, but it's basically just like exactly what we talked about in the podcast. So if you missed last week's episode, go check that one out, I guess, and you get the same idea. There is still about an hour of content from that episode that is left on the cutting room floor. So we might put that out later, but the main meat of what we talked about was the missing album from the Academy Is, and a little bit about Brendan Urie and Panic at the Disco kind of breaking up the Academy Is.
He's like literally the nicest person to ever exist.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's some good stuff that was in the episode, so I wanted to put out more focused on the music end. But we, if you watch the Twitch stream, you can see all that. But we have another hour or so to put out with Siska, so I think we'll eventually do that, put out that episode as its own standalone thing at some point, if we need to fill time in our episode schedule.
We'll see. I mean, Brian's abandoning us for 3 weeks to go across the seas.
Just a week and a half.
Oh, just a week? Nice.
Yeah, I was supposed to go for 3 weeks, but I decided that wouldn't really be worth the time. So yeah. I'll be in the UK for a week and a half at the end of this month. So yeah, it might be out around then when we can't get an episode together.
Look out, guys.
I might have all my stuff with me though. You never know. I might be able to do some stuff. Also, the Alternative Press linked the YouTube video for the Siska interview, which is awesome. It made me think that, like, you should go subscribe to us on YouTube. because I still want to do like cool stuff, but it very much feels like we're talking to a void over there right now. So it'd be cool if we get to 100 subscribers, we can change the the name to youtube.com/emo social club, but only when we get to 100.
Come on, guys, we can do it.
Yeah, go to search Emo Social Club on YouTube or go to the links in the podcast notes, and then you can go to our YouTube and subscribe. And then
if you do it, if you're like the last 20 people to do it, we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah.
There's an incentive.
If you comment on the videos, we'll shout out like that you subscribed and you're a cool friend to the community. Also subscribe to PewDiePie because that's the meme.
Because you're a 12-year-old girl.
Because it's a meme. Literally, that's all it is. It's just a meme. It's a stupid fucking meme. It's pretty funny though. Also, I DJ'd Emo Night LA last Friday, which was just a crazy day overall. But I had a lot of fun. My friend Chelsea runs the Chicago version of it, and we had a blast. So thank you if you came out, and thank you if you checked us out after I yelled Emo Social Club from the stage a couple times. And welcome if you're new.
I'm so glad that you did, because I wasn't able to get in.
I
think they oversold it because I walked up, it was like 10 o'clock, and they were like, you can't go in. And I'm like, but it's 10 o'clock.
Yep. It was definitely a one in, one out situation, but like everybody was there early.
Actually like paid for it if they weren't able to get in, because there was a handful of people who lined up behind me and my friend after we got there who weren't able to get in.
Yeah.
We ended up leaving. We went to Demo's anyway, so it wasn't that bad.
You didn't lose much, but
no, I didn't lose much. I got some pizza.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest like for the next one, if you're whoever's planning on going, like, get there early. But they also like, I would say that probably after, because our friends in this emo hip hop group, Dying in Designer, also played that night. And I think that after they played, like a lot of people were starting to clear out because it was getting late and it was a 17 and up event. So people had to get home because they're under the age of 21.
Yeah, I think that was also the issue too, was that this was like one of the first emo nights that was like 17 plus besides the one with 303. So when they were like, oh, it's sold out, I was like, I'm not surprised, but I don't think they realized how many people really wanted to go and who can't usually go. So, I mean, for future reference, it'll probably be more organized.
Yeah, I'm assuming. But I know that it would have been easy to get in if you came at like midnight, but also like it would have been sort of wrapping up for the last hour.
Yeah, so you'd be like, okay.
Yeah. But it was a good time. It was fun. Everybody was super chill. Everybody was having a good time. Felt very like just a group of good people just around having fun, doing emo dances and shit.
Emo shenanigans.
Emo shenanigans, yeah. So yeah, hopefully more in the future. We'll see what happens, what transpires. Our episode before the Adam Siska episode, we talked about the Chicago elections and why they mattered to you. And we did that in a tight hour 45.
Yep. We really like cinched it in.
Yeah. Oh, hey, can I get a tight hour and 45 to do this thing in? That's unrealistic to do it in any less. But they happened the same day we had our interview with Siska, so we haven't had a chance to talk about the kind of results from that. The main takeaway from that was the mayoral part of it, which had 14 candidates go into the
too many people.
And then like a third of the population of the city actually went and voted. I voted early. I voted on Monday. I went into the voting area. It took me like 30 minutes for the whole process. Like you fill out a form, you get a little card, you put it in a voting machine. I had 3 things on my ballot to vote for, and then you're out. Like it was super quick. And the 2 people that are going to a runoff. So the way it works, if you're not in Chicago, is that the 2 people who get the highest percentages of the vote go to a runoff. So out of the 14, they narrowed it down to 2, and then in April, everybody has to go and vote for of the 2 candidates for mayor. I think that there's a certain amount of there's a certain amount of things that led up to why you would only have 1/3 of the population go to vote on a February Tuesday in like it was freezing cold when I was walking to the poll on Monday, and it was freezing cold on Tuesday. So like, I'm not surprised a lot of people didn't really want to go anywhere. And also with 14 candidates, it's hard to really like decide and get to know them enough to where you're like, I feel confident in the choice that I'm making. I think that now that it's going to a runoff and it's between two people, which we'll get into who those two people are a little bit in a second, but I think it's just that'll lead to a much higher voter turnout, I hope, because April is generally warmer.
Right. Well, and the thing is too is that people don't have like Rahm Emanuel. So I mean, I feel like it sounds awful to say if he was actually still running for mayor this year and he was in the runoff, I think there'd be more people out to vote against him.
Yeah.
But I think because of that, and also for the fact that voting is never a like holiday, and a lot of people who would vote, especially here in the city, you have a lot of people who work odd hours. It's not just 9 to 5. They have maybe they work like in the morning or super late at night. So if you can't get it off of work, it makes it harder.
Yeah, agreed. I think hopefully April will look a lot better for the turnout. The mayoral election ended up with 2 African-American women. So no matter what happens, this will be the first African-American woman mayor of Chicago. You have Lori Lightfoot, who got the highest percentage, and Tori Preckwinkle, who was the second highest percentage. That makes sense based on what I just said. So
good job.
Yeah, I did the math there. The math pans out that those were the top 2 based on their percentages. But Lori Lightfoot, who is African-American woman, who's also would be the first lesbian mayor of Chicago as well. So you've got that as well. So, I mean, it still is historical, although we do have there is a lot of information coming about them now that we can sort of focus in on just the 2 of them. Lizzie, you were telling me about how Lori Lightfoot is a bit in the pocket of the Chicago PD.
Yeah, so a lot of people didn't make this realization or want to, really look at it. And she is really buddy-buddy with a lot of the Chicago police departments around the city. So there's a lot of, scrutiny and concern that especially with, like, the Chicago Cop Academy that's, being petitioned around in the south end of the city, if that would be more of a possibility if she is then in charge. And what's going to happen with police on the streets is, the city of Chicago. We still have a lot of crime and violence that happens against people of color, especially with involving Chicago PD. So there's not a lot of trust there. So that's one of the main issues. Something that was also really interesting that one of my friends pointed out to me the other night was there was a WBEZ breakdown of the demographics of who voted for whomst and where they lived and everything.
Whomst?
And people whomst voted. So people who primarily voted for Lori Lightfoot were primarily up north in like the northern suburbs of the city of Chicago. Mm-hmm. And people who are actually more on the south end actually voted more for Willie Wilson, who didn't make the runoff. But I find it so interesting that, somebody where basically in areas that are more minority-based populated aren't voting for Lightfoot specifically because she has so many connections to Chicago PD, but people on the north end who are going to be stereotypically like younger white millennials for the most part are voting for that person. And it calls into question if they're really well informed with it, or are they just going off of single issue votes because there was just so many candidates. Mm-hmm. Because I talked with somebody who their main single issue voter, why they voted for somebody was because they didn't approve of the dibs rule, which here in Chicago it's like a huge thing every year where when snow comes, you have to shovel out wherever you are, and it's people, are like, well, I shove it out in front of my house, therefore it's my spot, so I'm going to put like a lawn chair there, and I'm going to key your car if you put your car there, because it's not supposed to be. So Willie Wilson didn't approve of that. He didn't like that law, and this person I spoke to was so adamant about voting for him simply because of that, but no other issue that, like, we went through an hour 45-minute video with. So it must be really nice to be that privileged. I just, that's really where it comes at the end of the day.
It does. And I mean,
your main issue is the DIB system and not, affordable housing for people who need it,
Yeah.
It's really wild.
I think that, I think we'll do another episode on the Chicago runoff when we get closer to the date, because obviously our goal here from whoever's listening to us, our goal is that we would push people to get involved with local politics and to get involved with being a part of them. 1/3 of the population of Chicago voting for something is obviously still pretty low. And it doesn't really give a good idea of the full demographics. If it is easier for people on the north side to go to the polls and to vote for somebody who may not have the best intentions for other groups or may not understand how to benefit those other groups, I think that it would be much better if we could get more people out to the polls to vote according to demographics that affect everybody. That'd be my idea. Lizzie, you wanted to talk about something that I have next to no opinion on.
I don't know, in our Discord chat, you seem pretty not super amped.
Okay, so the Jonas Brothers decided to get back together, even though they were related by family. And they were like, let's put out new music that sounds like everything else that's happening right now.
And that song's a fucking bop.
It's not bad, but yeah. Why don't you talk us through the reunion of the Joe Bros?
The reunion of the Joe Bros is magical. So there's a lot of emo people on Twitter, at least, who were like myself, very secret undercover Jonas Brothers fans, because when you were in high school in 2012 from 2009 to 2012 at least, if you were an emo or SEMO or scene person, it was really looked down upon to really like the Jonas Brothers. So now all of us are thriving because we found each other via social media. So I'm super amped. I've been a Jonas Brothers fan since I saw them through a Radio Disney concert that was free at Dirty Nelly's in Palatine.
Oh my god.
And it was a jingle jam. So this is probably like when I was in middle school. So like 2007, 2006.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I'm very amped about it. They came back and it was much more poppy than I was ready for. But Sucker is a bop. Pretty much everyone in my office liked it, except for one person, because he's like, why don't we listen to the new Solange album, even though I don't like it? And it's like, shut the fuck up. Be happy. Listen. But the Jonas Brothers coming back is really rad and really cool. And I don't know what year it is anymore, because Allie and AJ also announced that they're coming back.
I saw that too. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I know, right? I'm really upset, because I'll actually be down in Atlanta when they roll through Chicago, so crying about it. But the Jonas Brothers coming back, they actually are on, like, James Corden all this week, doing whatever he does or something. The skits on those are actually pretty funny, or I could just be incredibly biased. Who knows? Honestly, I don't know. I'm just going to put this out there. I was a part of the Jonas Brothers fan club when I was younger.
Oh, my God.
And I have a Team Jonas patch that I need to put on, that I found, and I need to put on one of my jackets or vests. I have seen them 7 times. I have met the Jonas Brothers. I have a whole ass couch signed by the Jonas Brothers in my living room that I went to Radio Disney.
A couch?
A whole ass IKEA couch.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
They were just like giving away couches signed by the Jonas Brothers?
So when I was younger, my parents used to, because we always went out, because my parents didn't want to keep me locked inside the house like a shut-in, you know. So we would go out to like different Radio Disney events when they were still, you know, normally locally on air. Rip.
Yeah.
And they'd have promo events where they'd be like, hey, we're giving away like these tickets to stuff. So like that's also how I won a bunch of tickets to go see the Jonas Brothers. But we entered and we ended up winning, and it was the Jonas Brothers were playing at Six Flags Great America in Gurnee with Everlife and Keke Palmer. So it's also signed by them.
Oh my God.
And it was like you get to sit like front row. So it was like barricades, so you sat in the couches that they signed while you watched them.
Oh, okay.
So I have a whole, and then they sent the couch to my house.
Okay.
And I also met them there. So, what's up?
I don't.
Ultimate Jonas Brothers stan here. All my siblings also started to play instruments, drums and guitar, so they wanted to play Jonas Brothers songs.
That's not bad.
Right, yeah. My sister actually plays the drums really well. She just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
and then, my whole family is a big Jonas Brothers family, so when their new single dropped for Sucker at like 11 o'clock, we were all up playing it. So we're like a whole-ass Jonas Brothers family.
Oh, my God.
So it's great. I'm so happy. I'm so excited.
Yeah, clearly.
No one at work was ready because I, like, flipped out about it. I flipped out a lot, and my manager was very concerned, and I was really confused, like, incredibly confused. So there's that. And then I also came in on the following Friday, and I sit down. It's 8:30 in the morning. One of the guys from our sports station, they've been doing a bunch of, like, weird giveaways because there's no sports ball stuff going on right now. So they're doing, they're giving away tickets to see Korn. So it's, like, super weird.
Ooh.
Yeah, they were like,
some of those Korn tickets.
They're like, Gojira. And I'm like, all right, guys, we're going to stop here right now because they don't know metal. It's really funny. And they were like, oh, I think I saw the Jonas Brothers scheduled for a tour date at this venue. And I, like, jumped out of my seat. And I said, shut the fuck up. You're fucking with me right now. And I yelled it at them. And my manager was, like, looking like, what's going on here? But I can't confirm or deny anything. Nor can I say it for jeopardy of my job.
Yeah.
But it's going to occur at some point.
Yeah. I mean, we know they're going on tour. They wouldn't re-announce. It's just like, oh, here's a song. Anyway, gotta go. So there will be a tour. And it'll be probably over the summer, and it'll probably be at Tinley Park because that's where everybody's going now. I know. Slipknot's going there, though.
I hate Tinley Park still.
I know. I want to go.
I mean, just as much as I don't like Ravinia either. It's like the same setup, and then everyone rushes for lawn seating. I worked events over the summer where we worked an OAR show, so we had to get set up inside Ravinia before everyone else came out, and people would wait outside at the gates and be like, let me in, like 2 hours before.
Why?
And then they make a mad dash sprint with all their alcohol and lawn, whatever, and I'm like, what is going on? Be adults and buy normal pavilion tickets, Jesus Christ.
At some of those shows, like, if nobody buys, like, pit tickets, they will upgrade it. Yeah, and that Korn tour you were talking about has, like, Fever 333 and Under Oath on it.
Yeah.
So that one actually, like, could be legit. Like, you'd have to watch probably those two bands, like, from wherever you are, but then, like, if nobody buys, like, pit tickets, then you would probably get upgraded if you're sitting out in the pavilion area. Usually, I was sitting in the pavilion area before and, like, got upgraded to the pit, so it can happen. I would suggest not buying pit tickets no matter what, so honestly, that I can get upgraded if I go. Tickets
get, like, way too expensive, especially at Live Nation-owned venues, so hold out if you can, unless it's someone you really just really need to see. Please don't let it be Imagine Dragons. I had a friend, he sent me a photo because he was so close to the stage. And I was like, oh, that's a cute little mic setup. And I was trying to think of who was playing because he's like, I'm at Hollywood Casino. And I'm like, oh, who's playing? And I couldn't think of it. He's like, Imagine Dragons. I'm so excited. I'm like, you paid money.
Oh, boy.
And I was just offered like 4 tickets for free at my work for pit tickets for Imagine Dragons, and you legitimately paid at least $100.
Oh boy. Well, speaking of summer tours, we have there were a few other announcements that happened this week, because I guess this is just the time to get prepared for everybody coming to town. The 25th anniversary of Warped Tour was announced.
Yeah, even though they were like, hey, actually, this is it, guys, bye.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Kevin Lyman not lying about, like, oh, we're going to do some other dumb shit, though.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to show up and do some other shows. This won't be, they won't be, like, the same national.
It's just not going to be touring. It's just going to be, all right, guys, come to one of these 3 places.
Yeah.
Which I really doubt is going to be Ohio for most people.
Yeah, so Ohio is just the kind of like the opening ceremony for the Warped Tour, like, setup thing.
Basically, Ohio is at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they're going to have a special Warped Tour exhibit, which is cool. And a lot of people were under the impression that they would have equally cool bands.
Yeah.
Or, like, bigger bands. And so pre-sale sold out, like, within a day or 2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then they actually released a lineup, and everyone was pissed off about it. Plus the fact that apparently for pre-sale tickets for it, the max limit you could buy tickets at was, like, 10. Which is unheard of and ridiculous.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were saying scalpers bought it, and they were upset, and then they saw the lineup, and I doubt that they were upset anymore.
Or like, oh, we're not upset.
They're like, oh, I'm not mad anymore. It's okay.
So Cleveland at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is happening on Saturday, June 8th. I don't know how to pronounce this first name because it's all alphabetical.
Is it the weird one?
Charlie 2NA and Cut Chemist. I don't know who that is.
That is. If you know who those people are, please let us know.
Yeah.
Maybe you're old to know. I don't know. Is this an emo rapper? I don't know.
I'm assuming that it is, or a DJ. I didn't look it up, and I won't look it up. It seems like for doing a 25-year reunion, or not reunion, but like a celebration of Warped Tour, you would have had other bands play, but the bands are Emery, Hawthorne Heights, Simple Plan, and We the Kings.
Which, I mean, those are solid bands, but I also have seen most of those bands at Warped Tour in the past.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just because not a lot of the bands are together anymore. But once you start talking about the other shows, which are happening on June 29th and June 30th in Atlantic City, and then you have the 20th and 21st in Mountain View, California,
those lineups are actually really fire. New Jersey actually sold out.
Yeah. For the 2 days, right?
Yeah, they sold out today.
Yeah. Kevin Lyman said, we talked to everyone. There's acts that couldn't make it work, and they wish they could make it work. Some big bands are calling me going, how do we make this work? And at this point, I just don't have the time to make it work. We probably could have stretched this out to 4 days pretty easily. So he's just doing it as like a Riot Fest sort of thing in two other cities.
2 days. It's a weekend instead of 3 days.
Exactly.
And I don't know if most people could survive 4 days. Like, that's how Lollapalooza does it now. And honestly, like, Warped Tour is like, I anticipate myself to jump in the pit and get beaten up continuously throughout one day. Doing that for 4 days, I will tell you, I experienced this at Lollapalooza. It is a mistake. Don't do it. You will hurt. You'll hurt every fiber of your whole damn being.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Please don't do this to yourself. If you go to Lala this year, please don't do what I did and go so fucking hard at 12 p.m. on the first day and give myself an asthma attack in the pit for Slaves UK. Please don't do that to yourself. You're not going to have a fun time the rest of the day. You will, but you'll regret everything else.
You will, but you won't.
Consistent pain.
I'm looking over, like, the bands that are playing it, though, and I'm like, I understand you talk to everybody, but, like...
Are you sure you talk to everybody?
Because, okay, so this is my thought about any time that they do a festival show in LA. It's like, oh, you mean where all the bands live? Like, how easy is it to just get a ton of people to
Right.
show up to the place down the street from where they live? I feel like, so
Well,
I
here's
don't.
the thing, too. You don't have to pay for like any other expenses that you would have to pay for
Yeah.
like a band, say, who like lives out here in like the Midwest.
Yeah.
You can just be like, well, I'll give you like a case of beer and catered food and okay, bye.
Yeah, you show up, hang out with friends, and then like you can leave at the end of the thing. Like, it's surprising to me when they try to make it like, oh, this lineup's really good. It's like, it's nearby. Like, you're not going anywhere. And I think that that's kind of how the Atlantic City one is too, because it's a lot of like, as far as I can tell, like East Coast acts. There are some people that are traveling to both, and they're doing, they're doing both shows. But it seems to me like a lot of them are just local. Like, you can get here, let's do it, and trying to get as many different types of bands on the same thing. I see that the Atlantic City show seems to have a lot more ska at it, which looks
feel that.
neat. Yeah. For the most part, I mean, we're talking like A Day to Remember at Atlantic City, Atreyu's at both, Blink-182 is at the Atlantic City one.
Frank Iero and his new band are at both too.
Yeah, Frank Iero's at both. Good Charlotte's at both. I'm trying to see who else is overlapping here. I think Simple Plan is at both. Yeah.
The Starting Line is at both.
Starting Line's at both. Taking Back Sunday.
I would go to the California one just because I have never seen the Starting Line, and I fucking love the Starting Line. But I also don't know anyone who would actually get up and go with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking Back Sunday is just at the Atlantic City one. Thrice is at both. Sum 41's at the California one. So I mean, the lineup is good. Like, I think
it's
that's a
an
good
emo
festival.
kid's wet dream.
Yeah. I think that, you know, for once I'm looking at a festival lineup and saying this doesn't look like it'll affect what is happening at Riot Fest very much, because I don't think that this is a like summer festival routing thing.
No, I think it's just like you said, who's in the area and who's open. What's up?
And what can we do to like sort of celebrate like 25 years of Warped Tour? But I don't think it's like, oh, because they're playing this, they're also playing like the summer festival circuit, so they might be at Riot Fest or something like that. So us here in Chicago are just going to have to kind of deal with like not a lineup like that. If we want to, we can drive out to Ohio to see Hawthorne Heights.
I mean, I've seen Hawthorne Heights more than enough times, but I'm sorry, I don't think it could constitute driving all the way up to Ohio for it.
No, it is for lovers, but it's not for me.
I don't know. I've never been to Ohio, so...
It's, you know what, everybody talks a lot of shit.
He just did some weird jig.
Yeah, it's for the Ohio's for Lovers pun that I just made. Thank you. Cleveland's cool. I like Cleveland. It's not like I'd go there all the time, but I like it.
I will say that my friends and I kind of told my friend while we were out and she was drinking, I said, hey, I really want to go to this festival. It's in Michigan, and it's only one day, and it's in like a middle school.
Yeah.
And she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, look at this lineup. Like, it's for Bloodfest, and it's the last year. I've never been. I wanted to go last year, but none of my friends really listened to new emo. So no one would go with me last year. But this year, I may go. So nice. I'm really hoping, and I think my manager lets me go because I will be gone for the whole first week of May, and it is in late May.
Damn.
So that's also bomb lineup. The Wonder Years are headlining.
Yeah, I saw that.
People think that La Dispute is going to come back and get back together for it. We'll see how that happens. Who knows?
We'll see.
I listen to neither, so it doesn't really affect me. But Save Face is going to be there. It's a really cool band from New Jersey, and they fuck.
Yeah, I remember they were at Riot Fest.
Riot Fest. Yeah. That was a good set. They played a really rad set.
Nice. Just going along with other things that are happening this summer that were announced. The Pitchfork lineup came out. Was that today?
Yeah, it was today. It's okay comparatively to last year. Usually not excited because it's a bunch of like indie music, but not even more so. Last year I was kind of like, yeah, I'll go, and I actually did go thanks to work. And I wasn't too hyped about it. I feel like the main notable acts are like Sky Fiera, Charlie XCX.
Haim is pretty...
Yeah, Haim is supposed to...
I see a lot of Haim
one of
out
the
there.
headliners.
Is it Haim or Haim?
I've heard both.
Yeah.
We were talking about this in work the other day too, and no one knew.
Pick a name that makes sense phonetically. If
Like
you're in a
Jonas?
band, yeah, just pick a phonetically easy to remember name. Yeah, I don't. I looked at it and I said, I don't give a fuck about this.
Yeah, no, I wasn't impressed. Soccer Mommy's going to be there, but she's also probably going to be on the summer tour route again, so you could probably catch her at, most other events and venues.
Yeah. So Chicago doesn't have much going for it specifically right now.
I think there was a good article last year, right before Riot Fest started, and it was about why Chicago has so many fucking festivals, because we have a lot.
Yeah.
And it also was talking about how it could negatively affect the lineups in the future with the next 5 or so years, because there's so many fucking festivals that we have. Which I thought was interesting, because we also have smaller fests that are in, like, the neighborhoods, like Do Division and, like, Wicker Park Fest and West Fest, that also get a little bit larger names.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously that does affect, because of the city limit of where you can't play in a certain time frame. So that affects, Lollapalooza predictions here and Riot Fest predictions. So that's always a fun thing to play around with. And Lollapalooza tickets and lineups should go on sale probably within the next month or so.
Yeah, I think so.
4 more days of hell.
And it'll still be too expensive, and it still won't have enough bands that I want to see.
I mean, some of the rumors are 21 Pilots is going to headline.
Headline?
Yeah.
Are they that, like...
I guess so. That's the biggest rumor next to Ariana Grande, but I feel like that's a given. That's like a free giveaway token. Like your free
Ariana,
space in bingo.
I could see them,
but
opening for somebody.
I'm not even sure who's going to be there, because even we thought Marina and the Diamonds was going to play, and she isn't. She's playing a show at Aragon in September.
Yeah. Isn't Muse releasing... Or they released an album, but I think they're doing their own tour, so I don't think
Yeah, so they may also be another possibility as a headliner.
Yeah, because then I could see, like, Muse and 21 Pilots on the same day. Like, 21 Pilots opening for Muse.
Yeah, I could see that.
That kind of thing.
There's a bunch of hopeful dads out there who really hope that Foo Fighters come back to Lolla, but if you really look at their, like, scheduling, it'd be so far out of their way on the tour route to come through. And, I mean, they played Wrigley Field last year. Like, what else are you going to do in Chicago at that point? You have to give it a couple of years.
You really do. I don't know. Foo Fighters need to, like... I don't know. They just keep doing the same stuff over and over again. It's like, this isn't fun.
It's like, none of this is fun. No one's having a good time anymore, except for all the dads who are here, like, super hyped.
Yeah. So I don't know if I like that.
Well, also... Another one, too, is that Bunbury over in Ohio Festival, they announced their lineup a while ago, but it's right now the only scheduled date for Fall Out Boy to perform.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if that means I doubt Fall Out Boy's probably going to go on a festival circuit.
I mean,
but it could be that they might do another tour.
How many years has it been since they played Riot? Like, I think
when did they come back? 6 years ago, right?
Yeah, it was the year that was still in Humboldt. It was before they moved over to Douglas.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been a while since
2013.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, 2013.
2013. Yeah, I think so. So like you're looking at, it's a good time for them to play.
Sure, it could be
to come back. So I don't know. I mean that would make a lot of sense to me for them to come back to Riot Fest. I don't think they'd go Lollapalooza.
No, I doubt it. Unless they really try to go off of, like, look at Mania, and then we're going to be like, please don't play most things off of Mania, thank you.
Yeah, they will. Like Siska was saying, they're not about nostalgia, they're about the new stuff, and it's like, yeah, but your old stuff's better. And it's not like hyperbole, your old stuff's better. Anyway, every time we talk about Fall Out Boy on this podcast, we fucking rip into Fall Out Boy. Can't stop.
You rip more into Fall Out Boy than I do.
Yeah, fucking, of course I do. So we mentioned a couple of like just tours, so not festivals that are coming through. Korn announced a tour. I definitely plan on going to that because of Fever 333 and
Fever 333. If you haven't checked them out, go and check out Fever 333.
Yeah, So that'll be a good show. Slipknot I'll probably go see, even though I don't care about any of the openers because I fucking love Slipknot. And then, when a surprising twist, I think, the Smashing Pumpkins, the nice dude from Oasis,
The nicer dude from Oasis.
the nicer dude from Oasis,
The less assholey dude from Oasis.
and,
I'm quoting my manager.
and AFI announced that they are all going on tour this summer. And I've seen a little bit of a people aren't excited to go see AFI and Smashing Pumpkins. So
I think it was kind of interesting because I saw the lineup announcement and I got to work, and we were planning to release the Smashing Pumpkins contest and everything too, but they didn't have their other opener, which was AFI. And I went up to my manager. I'm like, AFI is opening for this. Did we know about this in advance? And he's like, no, that's like super weird, actually.
yeah.
So, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm probably going to need tickets just so I can go mainly see AFI. I'm just going to tell you now.
Exactly. No, I mean, AFI is one of my favorite bands, and Smashing Pumpkins have just, like, invited, like, so much controversy recently. And I don't know if all of it is, like, necessary, but at the very least,
like
it seemed
Smashing
weird.
Pumpkins, like Billy Corgan in general, has just always been a walking controversy, so I don't feel like it's really new anymore. It's kind of like Morrissey. Like, we just know. We know.
But, like, so everybody is always looking at the fact that he was on InfoWars a couple years ago, which, I mean, giving some context to it, I haven't actually watched it, and I don't plan on watching anything from InfoWars ever in my life. But he wasn't really talking about politics so much. He was talking a little bit about conspiracy theories that he believes in, but he wasn't getting too into it where it was like, oh my God, I can't believe that he believes the frickin' frogs are gay. Like, he's just sort of like being very weird, but not weird in the way where you're like, we need to not support this guy anymore. I think it's better to not support him based on like how he's treated the band, how he treated Darcy, the bassist, who's not with the band any longer, and just how he generally is as a person. But that's why I'm like, but I don't know. I know their tour didn't sell well when they came through, even in Chicago, which is like such a big thing for them to be back, and coming back to Chicago is like such a celebration. But yeah, but it like wasn't sold very well. And I mean, now they're going to Tinley Park again. So I don't know if it'll be better there, but I do know that AFI, being one of my favorite bands, is like, I really want to go see that. I want to see him on a big stage. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that.
The last time I saw AFI was when they played Riot Fest, which I think was the only other time that they rolled through, was it Aragon or Lincoln Hall, I think, a few years ago?
It's been a while, because they were doing, like...
They did the Blood Tour, and I remember they rolled through. I just don't remember the venue that they were.
I think it was Aragon, yeah. Yeah, it's been a while. Like, they just... That's what I love about AFI.
They skip us, like, all the time, and I'm like, they're gonna play a fest, and then they never do.
Because they've been, and it's kind of like this, like, they'll do a headliner, and then they'll open for a bigger band. So, like, they did Lala the year that Green Day headlined, because they were on the Green Day tour that year. So like they always kind of do that where they're like, we're doing our own headlining, and then they may come here, and then they're like, we're going out with a bigger band, and then they like don't come here. The Rise Against tour, I was like, why is that not coming to Chicago? Like, they're Chicago too.
They live here.
Yeah, like they chose not to come to Chicago for Rise Against. Like, that's weird. So I don't know. I think it's weird, but I think that maybe the closer we get, the more it's like really announced for the tour, and maybe like it'll make more sense. Right.
Well, Davey Havoc's and Jade Pudgett's other side project, Black Audio, is on tour now, though.
Isn't that this month?
March 26th at Lincoln Hall.
Well,
in Chicago.
UK. Yeah, I'm in UK, so won't be able to go.
That's so tragic. You were probably the only other person I knew who would have gone with me, so I guess maybe I'm going alone.
I was getting my girlfriend into it too, but she listened to like the first record, which is the only one I really know from Black Audio. But yeah, won't be able to make it. Sorry, Black Audio. Have to miss you again.
Again, never see Black Audio.
I know. Maybe they'll do a festival circuit.
Maybe. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see them on Riot Fest this year instead of AFI. We'll see. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for coming back. Thanks for any new listeners from the Alternative Press article. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you sticking with us. We've got a few cool interviews coming up, I think, and once we can get those together, we're gonna have some real cool shit for you guys. So
I have some fun content, funner content. Especially when it gets warmer out here, we can go outside and like do more.
Oh my god, yeah, it's been hard going
out cold the door. Here. Please help us.
It's so bad. Yeah, so if you are new, we are an independent local podcast, so we need all the support we can get. Same way as you'd support a local band, I think, or anyone doing something in your neighborhood. If you can hit us with a subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you can hit us with a subscribe on YouTube. If you can hit us with a like or a follow on any of our other social medias. All of them are in the details down below.
We'll if you're listening to some stickers too, so you can like put them up everywhere.
Oh my god, we still need to get merch.
We'll get merch eventually this year. We promise.
We promise merch is coming. We promise something cool. I have so many designs. It's just getting them made.
We have some very cute designs.
Yeah. So stuff is coming. So thanks if you're new. Thanks if you're old. Thanks if like me. Thanks if you're thanks if you've been sticking around with us, and we hope you continue to. And from all of us here at the Emo Social Club Podcast, I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie.
And we'll see you next week. Bye. Goodbye.